The Chicago Conservation Corps is a program where we recruit, train, and support a network of volunteers all throughout the city who are interested in doing really cool community-based conservation work. About 4 years ago, the city of Chicago turned to us, and at that time they hosted these big events called winter preparedness fairs. And if you can imagine a giant auditorium with banquet tables set up, and then just weatherization kits and canvas bags set up all along those tables. You would walk into this giant auditorium, grab a bag, head home, open the bag and say, well, what now? I have no idea what to do with any of these materials. And the city, they asked us to use our network of community-based volunteers to do kind of more of a grassroots approach to helping people weatherize their homes. Okay? So that is the goal of our program that we created. They're called Community Weatherization Action Teams. And our volunteers look in their communities and say, well, maybe I want to work with my daughter's school. I'll work with the PTA and coordinate some kind of weatherization workshop. Or they want to host something at a public library. Or maybe they decide, you know, I'm not really a workshop type, but there is this senior living apartment center down the street from me. Maybe I will get together a team of folks and we'll go and install these weatherization kits for every unit in the building. And so over the past 4 years, we have actually been able to weatherize more than 25,000 homes purely through a volunteer effort, which is incredible. The goal of weatherization is obviously to reduce our energy usage in our homes. And there are two main ways that we do that. One is insulation, which I think is what pops to mind for a lot of people. You think, oh, I need to have better insulation in my windows, or oh, I need better insulation in my walls. The goal of these weatherization kits is more on the air sealing side of things. And so there are the little tiny gaps that are around your windows and your doors, your baseboards, that are letting your warm air escape. And so we include things like caulk and caulk guns and teach people how to use that to caulk around their window frames and doors. We include weather stripping. And we also include things like plastic window film, which I think is something that people are very familiar with. So what I think the most important part of our program has been is not that we've weatherized 25,000 homes and not that, you know, we've spent X hundreds of thousands of dollars on caulk, but that we really do get into the community, and rather than just handing stuff over and people walking out the door, they spend hours in workshops with our volunteers. They get hands-on experience before they leave. So that is an actual requirement of our program, that before you hand someone a kit, they know exactly what to do with everything that's included. And so I think that the most important part is the educational aspect. And there is a possibility that in C3's future, if we don't get funding for weatherization materials, we'll still teach people how to weatherize. Maybe they don't go home with a kit, which is the very expensive part of the program, but they do still learn these really basic principles like, you know, building envelopes and how to properly seal your home and what to look for and where to buy materials that you might need. And again, if you feel you can't do these things yourself, who else do you turn to? So in terms of how that would transfer to other communities or other places, I think anyone who has some knowledge of weatherization, which I'm an ecologist by training, I am not an energy efficiency expert. I had to learn these things too before we started training our volunteers. So that means it's possible, everyone. But I do think that if we were to share that information in a more user-friendly way and make people feel empowered, then we would get a lot of traction all across the country. So the question then is, how do you do these training programs without a large core of volunteers? You know, we are very lucky here in Chicago that we have an environmental service program for residents. But does it have to be an environmental service program? Could it be your local citizens utility board that's doing these things? You know, thinking more about the energy and money savings part of this than the conservation side. Could it be Girl Scout and Boy Scout troops? Who are the people who are willing to give their time and energy to kind of share the news and the information that people need?